Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Around the World Library Tour. I'm Kelli Roisman. Elizabeth Wiest and I are your tour guides tonight. We're going to circle the globe and visit amazing libraries on all 7 continents. We'll start near the South Pole and end near the North Pole. When you registered for the tour, we asked you what your dream job would be in your dream library. So we had several who were interested in libraries overseas. So fashion librarian at the British Museum, Trinity Library in Dublin. Someone wants to do DEI work for a public library that serves a Black community or in Africa. We also have digital humanities liaison librarian in Paris, teen librarian in Iceland, curator and cataloger, British Library, and someone dreams of becoming an international library consultant, and working with digital collections or rare books in an international archive or academic library. And then we had some people who had particular locations in mind. One wants to be a map librarian who gets outdoors a lot. That sounds good. Adult programming in any library near a beach. Children's librarian in a small mountain village. Reference services and a big old beautiful library. Well, we have a lot of those today. And then some of the, I think I picked out as most interesting. We have my dream job would be to manage the Philip K. Dick collection at the UC Riverside because I love his work. That sounds good. Working in archives with some of the ancientest manuscripts and books. Then we've got library director of the library of all my favorite foods and drinks. And my favorite, ancestor in charge of a myths and legends archive. So that's great. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to do a poll right now. So the poll is a recent survey, which country reads the most? So I'm gonna start that now. Okay, Poland, China are fighting it out. Okay. Almost there. China's getting ahead, I think. All right, just a few seconds left. Get everyone to vote. All right. I'm going to end the poll and share the results with you. Does everyone see that? Yeah, okay, good. So the real answers. So India is #1, and they read nearly 10.5 hours per week. Thailand is #2 with just over 9 hours a week. China is #3 with 8 hours a week. Egypt, #5 with 7.5 hours a week. Poland is #12 with 6.5 hours per week. And the United States, of the list of 22 countries, was #22 with 5.4 hours per week. Great. All right, so starting with our tour, let me go. Yeah, there we go. So the world map. So where we're going to start, we're starting in Antarctica, which this map does not do a good job of showing Antarctica, but we're going to begin here, which is actually here. It's directly south of New Zealand. So we're starting there. We're going to New Zealand. Let me get my list here so I get it every place. From New Zealand.
Hey, Kelly, I'm here. Sorry, I got you. I got the list up here. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. All right. So from New Zealand, we're going to Taiwan, up to Japan, over to South Korea, right here in China. Then we're going to India, this area. We are going to Oman, which is right here. We're going to Ethiopia. We're going to Morocco. We're skipping up into Europe to France. And then we're going to Russia, St. Petersburg. Then we're bouncing over to Finland. We're going to Denmark. Then we're going to Scotland. We're going up to Iceland. And then we're going to go way down to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And then skipping up to Mexico. And then Toronto, Canada. And we're ending up way up here in Alaska. So, all right, I'm moving on to the next slide. Oops, gotta get my twist over there again. All right, so this is a picture of Antarctica, which is a bit better than the one that was on the world map. So right down, right around here is Mcmurdo, I think. Which, did I get at the right place? Anyway, somewhere is the place that we're going for. Elizabeth's dad actually worked there for a while. All right, so that's where we're starting. We're starting with Mcmurdo Library in Antarctica, and it provides a cozy place to curl up with a good book. It's actually one of several libraries in Antarctica at various stations. Mcmurdo is actually the largest station. It was built in 1956 and has over 1,000 residents. Yeah, and do you want to add to that, Elizabeth, your dad's experience there?
Yeah, my dad went into the library. He said it was very small and had very many paperback books. But the first thing he likes to say when he got to Antarctica was when you take the all-terrain vehicle off the plane and towards the station, I forget the vehicle's name. I think it's Ivan, but there's a sign that says, in case of emergency, follow the bubbles. So if the ice breaks and you're underwater, follow the bubbles.
That's scary advice. Yeah.
That's the story that I
I
hear
was,
the most. But yeah,
that's what I think I was talking to you and like, oh, that describes the last 4 years in our country. But
follow the bubbles.
we won't go there. All right, where we're going to go instead is New Zealand.
Okay, so this is the, I'm not sure, sorry if I butcher the sound, but this is the Patoria Library. And this has been here since 1885 and is a very popular stop for people passing through the south of New Zealand, a place called Otago. And apparently, like, New Zealand is totally famous for having a bunch of tiny little libraries just like this. And there is a half-hour BBC documentary about the life of tiny libraries in New Zealand. So anyone who's really into small libraries and rural libraries, I think looking into the tiny library life of New Zealand could be quite fun and interesting.
Okay, zipping over to Taiwan.
Okay, so here we have, this is in Beitou in Taipei, and this is Taiwan's first green library. And if you're thinking of going to Taiwan, it's one of the best places ever. And this building was designed to curb water and electricity consumption. The roof generates electricity and catches rainwater for toilet flushing. The large windows bring bright natural light, and the insulation keeps the temperature just right and proper ventilation, so they reduce their energy usage. And this is also built of sustainable wood and made to resemble a treehouse. Inside, there are more than 20,000 titles in both Mandarin and English.
Cool. Okay, staying in Taiwan.
Anybody out there in Taiwan, it's so wonderful. 10 out of 10 stars would recommend. Okay, so this one is the main library of New Taipei City. And I don't know if you can see this, but it was actually made to look like a bookshelf. So it was just so cute, I had to add it. And this is home to Taiwan's largest literature collection, about 650,000 books and 1,100 journals. This is the first library in Taiwan to offer 24-hour service. The self-service book collection machine allows patrons to search and retrieve a book within 30 seconds. And that's the New Taipei City Library.
So interesting fact about Elizabeth that she is fluent in Mandarin Chinese, like really fluent, not just conversational. Is it okay to ask about your experience in Taiwan?
Yeah, if anybody wants to talk about Taiwan anytime, I just love it. I got my master's degree in Chinese language and literature, and I studied classical Chinese literature and then modern literature in mainland China. But it's a wonderful place, and maybe some of you might think of teaching abroad or doing an English thing or traveling. So I would love to talk. I could talk about that with somebody forever if you're interested, but it's a wonderful place.
Has anyone else ever visited Taiwan? Type in the chat. Oh, for a layover, yeah.
I
Been in a
used to
few
live there.
places for a layover, yeah.
I used to
All
live
right.
there when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was very young.
Oh, Natasha, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, wow.
Sylvia was there for a year. What did you do there, Sylvia?
I think she may be muted.
Yeah, maybe muted.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Well,
feel
Yeah,
free to type in the
I was there for a year. I was actually learning Mandarin in Taiwan, in Taipei. I was across the street from Sherlin, which is a night market. So it was a really interesting place to learn Chinese.
Oh, that's a really fun place. Shilin is a really great night market.
Wow. I think we have
That's so awesome.
a well-traveled group. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, where are we skipping up to now? Japan. Okay, and so I lived in Japan for a while. A few years back, I think I was talking at the beginning, so I lived there. Oh, I lasted about 9 months. I did go with a round trip ticket and very little else. I taught English there. I studied Japanese. A library and community center was designed by the architect Toyo Ito, very famous. It opened in 2015. I'm quoting from this architecture site. So it says, the structure in its interior was, we said that, is characterized by undulating latticed wooden ceilings. Numerous curved globes act and look like giant lampshades as they filter natural sunlight into the space, while also defining the circular knowledge hubs they encapsulate. The space is a visual depiction of the facility's concept, which is, from roots to branches, may our knowledge grow and blossom as we plant new seeds for the future. I like that a lot. So now we're going to go west to South Korea. Right, so this article, or this library, the Starfield Library, is located in Seoul, and it was opened in 2017, and it's actually part of a complex. It's the largest underground shopping center in Asia. So obviously this is the kind of the Athenaeum. It's on top, so obviously the sunlight comes through, but it's on top of this underground mall. And what else do they say? Okay, this is a quote from The Lonely Planet. They say, with popular amenities such as free Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and plenty of power outlets, expect to find as many indulgent selfie takers as you do serious readers. So interesting, I thought. All right, so now we're going further west to a library in China that is nicknamed the Eye. Inside that eyeball is it's a spherical auditorium. So I'm going to read again about this. So it says, this futuristic 5-story library has tiered bookcases wrapping the periphery walls from floor to ceiling. At the center of the library is a spherical auditorium that acts as a social space for gatherings. The first and second floors house reading rooms and lounge areas with meeting rooms, computer, audio rooms, and 2 rooftop patios above that. All right, you're up next, Elizabeth. We're now going farther west to India.
All right, now we've got the Rampur Raza Library in Rampur, India, and what an incredible building. This was created by the ruler of the Rampur state 200 years ago and started with his personal collection. And his descendants were poets, musicians, calligraphers, scholars, and artists, and they all contributed to the collection. So it's just so incredible. And the library contains over 17,000 manuscripts in Arabic, Persian, Pashto, Sanskrit, Urdu, Hindi, and Turkish, in addition to 80,000 books on art, history, culture, and even some astronomical instruments that they used back in the day. And also happy belated Diwali to everybody out there who celebrated.
I don't know what Diwali is. I mean, I've heard of it, but what is it exactly?
Yeah, so Diwali was last Saturday, November on the 14th, and it's a Hindu, Jain, Sikh, and sometimes Buddhist holiday. Oh, I'm just checking the chat. Maybe somebody who identifies that. Oh, celebration of light. So there's a few people that are contributing here. Celebration of light, the harvest festival, and it's about 5 days in the Hindu lunar calendar. So basically like a harvest festival, and what you do is like you clean and you renovate and redecorate your home or your workplace, and you light an oil lamp and basically wear your finest clothes and have family feasts. And it's a 5-day long festival. So that's a little bit about it. Lamps, oh, the lamps are to ward off evil. Maria McCord says it's as popular as Christmas. So yeah, it's all kinds of exciting
Sounds great.
things.
Do they ever, I mean, have you
Yeah.
ever heard of like festivals here anytime? I know there probably is in LA, but I'm not aware of it. Has anyone been to one?
Yeah, has anybody participated in Diwali? Oh, Fremont, California, the Bay Area.
Huh.
Rangoli
Bias, want to
design.
share? Put you on the spot.
It was there was music and dancing and an open market. I believe it was one of the 5 days of Diwali.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we're traveling west again. We're going to Oman.
Yes, Oman. Has anybody been here? I have not. Well, I've only been to the airport, but if you ever want to tell me about Oman, if you've been there, I would love to hear it because I am obsessed with wanting to go to Oman. It's so beautiful and the people are so friendly. And I need to have a desert adventure with music and food. But anyway, this is the Sultan Caboose Grand Mosque, and it's stunning. It's this incredible mosque, one of the most incredible buildings on our planet, and it's in Muscat. And this architectural wonder is a mosque, and it's open to all people, whoever wants to see the mosque. And the library was established in 2001. It has 6 different sections. There's an Omani section, a general section, periodicals, children's section, a section for higher studies, and a reference section. But yes, if anyone has been here, please share.
Anyone? It's a little more less.
It's an
travel
expensive flight, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to hop. I mean, I'm an American, so of course geography is. We're terrible at geography. We have.
Oh my gosh!
I've been told.
What? My plane had an emergency landing, and it's like we're landing in Muscat, and I had to Google it. I was like, Muscat, where am I? So I'm ashamed to admit it, but yes.
All right. Well, now I think we're skipping a little bit. We're going southwest a little bit to Ethiopia. All right. So I would love to be able to pronounce that. I should have figured that out, but El Karouan, I don't know. But it's in Fez, Morocco, and it is considered the oldest library in the world that is, currently open, active. And Yeah, so it's really interesting. It was renovated in 2017, and it was founded over 1,000 years ago in 859 AD. So when they did the restoration, the architect was overseeing that, and there was an interview with her. So she had her great-grandfather used to ride his donkey from his village to study in the reading room of the library. And during restoration, they had to do massive restoration because apparently, like, under the floors, it was just massive flooding underneath. So they had to do a lot. And also when they were doing restoration and they had to fix walls and everything, they would discover like secret rooms and little nooks all over the place that in these walls and that were boarded up. So that's pretty cool. That's a place I'd like to go. I'd like to go to Morocco anyway. I mean, it sounds amazing. So anyone actually traveled to Morocco? And it's probably on a lot of people's bucket list. Yeah. All right. Well, from there, we are going to, oh, I did things, oh, I did it in wrong order. Okay. So we went all the way to Morocco, which is in the upper, I don't know if you want to do it, upper right-hand corner of Africa. And I skipped Ethiopia. So, I think, there we go. Now I'm backtracking. I'm backtracking towards where we were in Oman, and I'm going to Ethiopia. So this is the Camel Library, which is just fascinating, I think. So, right, so it's run by Save the Children. So I'm just going to read this quote. So Save the Children first began the Camel Library in 2010. The program includes 21 camels, which are traditionally used by communities in the Somali region of Ethiopia to transport goods across the hot lowland areas. Camels can carry up to 200 storybooks at a time in wooden boxes strapped to their backs. The project currently reaches over 22,000 children in 33 villages in Ethiopia. I think that's the most amazing library that I found anyway. So now we're going to go north, Europe and France. So this is the National Library of France. It's located in Paris. It was established in 1461, but at this location, but it actually, prior to that, it was part of the Royal Library at the Louvre Palace, and it was founded by Charles V in 1368. So I found this little interesting fact. So during World War II, the Germans seized thousands of books. I mean, we all know that they seized all kinds of things, artwork and so on, but they did take a lot of the rare books and manuscripts and other books, and a lot of them they burned as well. We kind of went into that if anyone here attended our banned books quiz show earlier this semester. So what happened was the librarians kind of went underground and they continued to supply books on the list that the Nazis had created. Like these weren't allowed, and they would loan them to what they called trustworthy readers, which basically means that people who were part of the resistance who weren't going to rat them out to the Nazis. So I think that's a really interesting story, and it's gorgeous. And I wish that when I was in Paris, I had gone to that library. So, all right, now we're moving. Did I somehow miss? Oh no, here's the St. Petersburg. All right, I think my geography is a mess. So anyway, now we're moving north to Finland. And this is the Helsinki Central Library. Okay, interesting. All right, so I'd forgotten this fact about it. So it's located in Helsinki. It opened in 2018, so we're kind of going the opposite of the National Library in France. So someone was asking a question, I think, earlier with, I think, maybe the library in Singapore and China with how do they get books? So this library has specially designed robots that are used to transport books between the building's floors. And when they were opening the library, they actually had a naming contest for the robots. There are actually 3 of them. And a 10-year-old girl won the contest. The winning names were Tatu, Patu, and Vera. And these are all characters from Finnish children's literature. So that's another cool fact about that. Elizabeth, do you want to go ahead? I mean, we kind of did it because we both researched these ones. Do you want to take over though for the Copenhagen library?
Yeah, the Tingberg. Anybody, please feel free to correct my speech. Okay, so the Tingberg Library in Copenhagen, Denmark is shaped like a wedge. The building is extended with a funnel-shaped volume pointing towards the school. The roof of the culture house spans from 4 floors and slopes down to 1 floor towards the entrance of the school. With the open and transparent facade facing the street, the building shows its many activities to its surroundings. So yeah, it is a pretty fascinating, I've never seen a building quite like that one.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's really interesting. Really interesting. I mean, behind that very narrow edge, there is like a wedge shape beyond that, but it's still a very narrow space. So that's really cool. And then opened in 2018. Okay, now we're gonna go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't get the slides in my geographical order, so we're gonna be skipping around a bit in Europe. So going kind of northwest here, we're going to Scotland and to the Sir Duncan Rice Library at the University of Aberdeen. So yeah, it's described as a 21st century place for learning and research. I'm just going to quote again from one of the sites about the architecture. So the building was designed by Danish architects. And the idea was to mark the ice and light of the north. The design concept was to provide a meeting place and a cultural center for the university and the wider Aberdeen community. So to me, what's interesting about this one is that I think the outside, I mean, I don't know that it kind of conveys what the interior is, because the outside seems more, I don't know, the geometry doesn't really match. So, but it's really cool, those staircases. And again, I have to ask the question, like, how do they access all those books or find them once you get, I have, trouble enough locating books in a small usual library. Okay, so we've gone to Scotland now.
Yeah, and Erica.
Oh,
sorry. Erica says her sister attended this university and the library is very pretty, but the acoustics are terrible because it is open from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's
for the Scotland Library.
Yeah. No, I find this interesting because when you see different architecture and you realize that they overlook the functionality so many times. We're going from Scotland and we have to backtrack. We have to go east. So we're going east, and do you want to take over?
Yeah. Also, Kelly, a lot of people in the chat are absolutely agreeing with you on the functionality versus architecture. And Lots of great comments in the chat for that. Okay, so this is the Gogo Library in St. Petersburg, Russia, and it was so hard to choose a library because, oh my gosh, I don't know if anyone's been to Russia, but if I ever go, I'm gonna have to see these magnificent libraries, like Beauty and the Beast libraries, walls of books, ladders on wheels that move you all around. But this one was so interesting because I chose it because it's for like a mecca for young people and creative people, and its design and facilities are in keeping with all the latest trends, and who knows how functional that is. But there is a large archive of multimedia documents and also a music and film collection, which can be accessed and played right there on the spot. And they just have all these funky chairs. It looked like a fun place to go, but yeah, Russia has some really incredible looking libraries. Yes, I was super stoked, and I hope everybody is just as excited as I am. This is a water library in Iceland, and I thought, oh my gosh, a water library. So it's kind of like an art installation piece, but it's a long-term art installation piece. And if you visit there, you can wander through, like, these tubular things are filled with water from different glaciers, and it captures the spirit of Iceland through its waters, weather, and words. So there's other installations of poetry and history and information about the weather, and this whole installation for water from all the different glaciers. And the mineral and chemical content of each glacier's melt is different. Each of the oversized vials has captured a very specific portion of the country for prosperity and eventually historical interest. The Library of Water has already began to serve a preservationist purpose, and it contains melted water of, I guess it's pronounced the OK Glacier, which has now disappeared. So that's the only place there's anything left of that glacier. Tobias says Iceland, where weird is normal, and Desiree says very creative. But gosh, I just think, libraries can just be anything, natural museum libraries and water. I never realized that, mineral and chemical compounds in each glacier is unique. So yeah, if you're in Iceland, let me know if it's cool over there.
I'd love to go. Yeah, I'd really love to go there. All right, we're gonna go. All right, we're making the biggest trip yet. We're jumping way.
This is a long flight, everybody.
Yeah, really. Hold on, buckle your seatbelts. Everyone back in their seat. Yeah, we're being goofy. All right, so now we're in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And this is the Royal Portuguese Cabinet of Reading, which is, basically it's the library. So I'm quoting here. So the institution was founded in 1837 by a group of 43 Portuguese immigrants. They were political refugees, and they founded this in order to promote culture among the Portuguese community in what was then the capital of the Empire of Brazil and a colony of the Kingdom of Portugal. And it was the first association of this community in the city. So I don't know, they've got a lot of ladders there. It's really interesting how that's set out. I wonder how many ladders they do have and what kind of amazing catalog. It's probably digital now, but it'd be really interesting just to see what, their card catalog was. But, all right, now we're
that is stunning.
Yeah, now we're going to go north to Mexico.
Yes, we are going to Puebla City in Mexico, and this is the Biblioteca Palafoxiana, recognized by UNESCO for being the first and oldest public library in the Americas. More than 45,000 books and manuscripts from the 15th to 20th century. And also, visiting this library is one of the top ranked activities for visiting Puebla City, Mexico. There's a big thing on TripAdvisor. People really enjoy going there. It's beautiful. It was built and designed by monks who were really just cared about education and literature. And visitors say that this library is very small, but it's full of character and very beautiful. And this is kind of like, it's set up almost like a long corridor, like it is in this photo, with just old ancient artifacts and things like that. But yeah, this is the library in Puebla City, Mexico.
That's cool. All right, now,
Yeah,
let me see, I need to,
I believe we're going to Canada.
we are going to Canada. Now we're swooping northeast to go to Toronto.
This is funny. I worked on a fishing boat and we drove past Canada. Like nobody was allowed to get off the boat because everybody, well, I didn't, but all the fishermen had felonies according to Canada. And so I was just thinking, I hope we can all get in. Let's not get stopped at the border. But this is the Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library in Toronto, Canada. And it's at the University of Toronto. And excuse me. This is the largest repository of publicly accessible rare books and manuscripts in Canada. And among this collection is Shakespeare's first folio, like a collection of poetry and sonnets or something that he wrote in 1623. So there's an original copy of that. And Newton's Principia, which he wrote in 1687. A Babylonian cuneiform tablet from the kingdom of Ur, which was kind of in Iraq, Mesopotamia, in 1789 BC. And there are 36 Egyptian papyrus manuscripts dated at 245 BC. And they also have a digital library, which you can access online if you're interested, and it's filled with medieval manuscripts. And it's super fascinating. And while I have the floor and we're talking about old manuscripts, I'm going to share a link in the chat. I just found this article called this is over in Egypt. We're going to just visit Egypt for a second. Lost Languages Discovered in one of the world's oldest continuously run libraries. And it's St. Catherine's Monastery in Egypt. And they also have lots of really early manuscripts that are so old the languages don't even exist anymore. And so I'm going to share the link to that article in the chat. This library in Egypt with monks deals with just ancient manuscripts, and it's still there, and they're recovering dead languages. So that is jumping from the Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library, and I will add the link to the Lost Languages Discovered in the world's oldest library in the chat in just a moment. But yeah, please share your thoughts on the Thomas Fisher Library, or would they have dead scrolls? I'm not sure. I will look. I'm not totally sure. They have things maybe even written by Hippocrates, just all kinds of crazy stuff. I'll share it just a moment. But yeah, there we go. That's the Thomas Fisher Library. And I wonder if anybody's interested in ancient manuscripts. That's totally just a far out. It's too damp in Egypt. Oh, Marina's interested in ancient manuscripts. Ariel, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Erica loves old manuscripts. So yeah, if you hadn't been familiar with the Fisher Rare Book Library before, I think you could get really into it. They've got a really impressive digital library of ancient manuscripts.
I like Natasha's comment, no copyright for those, because we both just finished the digital copyright class.
What a whirlwind adventure.
Our last stop tonight is north of the Arctic Circle at the Tuzi Consortium Library in Ilisiyavik, Alaska. The library is located on the campus of the Ilisiyavik College, which is the only tribal college in Alaska. Special collections include a growing archive, as well as a circulating Alaskan section with particular emphasis on Arctic and polar regions, the North Slope, and the Inupiaq history, language, and culture. Yeah,
I'm going to count all the stamps in my passport.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for all I traveled and lived overseas, now my passport's expired, which is kind of sad. So,
One day.
so where do you guys want to go? Which library of these would you be most interested in traveling to?
I want
Brazil,
to see the
Melissa
Thailand library
says-
in New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah, Iceland. Oh, yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, absolutely. So I also want to share that we do have our end of the semester casual meetup. I guess it's for chatting, and it's on December 9th at 6:30 p.m. You can find more information on our website. And then, Natasha, do you want to talk about our position?
Yeah, so basically, we are holding an election for the social media manager position. You self-nominate yourself by emailing sjsu@alasc@gmail.com, and you include your name, a short description of yourself, and why you'd be a good fit. So you just have to send that in by December 4th, and we'll hold the elections in the following weeks and announce it by the 18th. So we hope you guys are interested, and come join us.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Heather's 6-year-old got to stay up late for this. She loved libraries and all the cool places. And Christine, yes, students are free for the midwinter conference. Oh, it looks like there's a lot going on in the chat, but yeah, thank you, everybody in the chat. Angela likes the Paris library. Tobias likes Brazil. Amber likes the library in Japan. Lots of people can't wait to travel and visit once COVID is over. Mark likes the Helsinki library. Yeah, thank you so much, you guys. This is so amazing. It's like we got to travel a little bit.
We did. I really appreciate everyone joining us. I do very much. It's been a lot of fun for Elizabeth and I to, you know, do our research and find what we thought were amazing libraries. I'm glad to know you guys do too.